This program is powered by realestate.com.au. Know the value of your home today. Track your property now.
Yeah, welcome back to Business Weekend. As I said, the housing markets do remain supercharged. There were more than 1,600 auctions over the weekend across Australia. The national clearance rate is above 90%, which I've got to tell you is truly quite staggering. In Sydney, there were 479 auctions. The clearance rate there, close to 94%. In Melbourne, plenty of action. 846 auctions. The clearance rate there, almost 91%. In Brisbane, things, well, they're a little more moderate. There were just 29 auctions. 79% of those were cleared. In Adelaide, 46 auctions. The clearance rate there was some 76%. And in Canberra, 53 properties went under the hammer and all but one of them sold. Just incredible. Anyway, elsewhere, there is a property to be sold. It's almost inevitable. A mortgage is going to be created. And why wouldn't you, when you can easily get a mortgage rate with a 1 in front of it these days? The booming property market, again, is raising questions about the sense of young people taking on massive mortgages, making themselves vulnerable when interest rates rise in the future. It also raises questions about lenders and how vigilant they are in checking the ability of borrowers to repay in all conditions.
It's unprecedented times.
Unprecedented indeed. The momentum in the housing market shows no signs of slowing.
We are seeing growth at the moment. Every month, the market seems to be growing in all suburbs across Sydney, Melbourne, the major capitals of Australia.
Demand for property is at the highest, pretty much record high levels at the moment. So the number of people searching for properties for sale is the highest it's ever been.
REA Group's weekly buyer demand index is up more than 58% on a year ago, the biggest jump on record. In New South Wales, demand for houses and units is up 55% since December. In Victoria, it's up 45% in just the past 3 months. With auction clearance rates also at record levels, it's tough for buyers. First home buyers especially, come auction day.
Well, the buyers, it's hard work for the buyers at the moment. They're turning up to property, especially house and land, where they're coming to an established area, and there's 10 to 12 buyers bidding it out on an auction day. So from a buyer's perspective, very frustrating.
Which raises a separate question. With capital city markets so hot, is it responsible for first home buyers to take on such large mortgages to gain a property foothold?
There's no doubt that the Sydney market in particular is really heating up, leaving some buyers to feel priced out. The responsible lending laws are set to be voted on later this year, and if passed, there's fears that the already high levels of demand will skyrocket.
The changes proposed by Treasurer Josh Frydenberg would reduce the amount of detailed information a lender asks a borrower. It would place more onus on the borrower, taking out a mortgage, say, to be responsible, rather than the bank or financier having to minutely check the credentials of its customers. The government says this reduces red tape and makes credit easier for families and small business. But plenty are sceptical.
I think it's probably going to be quite hard to justify that at the moment when we're seeing record high lending pretty much every single month. We're seeing prices increasing quite rapidly. I can't see that it's actually going to get through Parliament just because of the broader environment we are in at the moment around lending in the housing market.
The latest statistics show new home lending commitments rose 10% in January, around $28 billion in new housing debt in just 1 month.
We're really concerned about a debt disaster if the safe lending laws are repealed. Today, people are looking to get in the property market, and we see brokers and real estate agents pushing people to borrow more and more to make that purchase. We are getting many contacts from people who are affected by debt. Debt stress causes real hardship for individuals and households. It can affect relationships, it can affect well-being, it can even affect people's ability to hold down a job. Too much debt does nothing to help the economy recover either.
Look, it's always concerning when there is heat in the property market.
The key to whether the relaxation in responsible lending laws gets through Parliament rests with the crossbench in the Senate. And one key senator says he's not budging.
Well, I certainly can't support it on the evidence that I have before me. it doesn't seem to make any sense at all. The justification for the changes in the law was because the government said that there was a credit squeeze on. That's clearly not the case. These laws basically make sure that people don't get loans if they can't afford them. No one wins. The consumer doesn't win if they get a loan that goes bad, and the bank doesn't win if a consumer gets a loan that goes bad.
We've got to maintain those laws. If that comes off, it's likely to be carnage that we'll never see. I don't want to even contemplate that if those laws are in place to protect. Once we take that security, basically, once you take that away, there's no safety net anymore.
The key message for any buyer, though, don't take on more debt than you can afford. And as banks already do, assess your ability to pay if rates change.
Find the right suburb, they've got their mortgage in place, and understand that if the mortgage rate went up, and let's say it went up by a couple of percentage points, that they could still afford that repayment.